Hello everyone, my name is Alice. Today I will tell you how a disease helped a girl find the love of her life. Mental illness is something that has affected me throughout most of my life. It's just that I never really knew what was normal. So I didn't know anything was wrong until I reached my 20s. I've always been a high achiever, but I'm also a real perfectionism about things. Anything from the way I look to how I might perceive someone's comments. I always tried to be the best, not because I wanted to be better than everyone else, but because I felt like I was never good enough. Despite being the outgoing girl who was always smiling and was friends with everyone, everything I did was plagued by the constant voice in my head, which told me I just wasn't good enough, and I was completely unable to talk about how I felt. I was scared to tell anyone throughout school, university, and later work, in case I would be judged or my prospects hindered. But one Christmas Eve, in my mid-20s, my mom realized she had to do something and booked me an appointment with my GP. By this time, I had everything any young woman my age could ask for. I'd made a successful start to my career, acquired a collection of lovely shoes and handbags, fostered a fun-loving group of friends, and was always the life and soul of the party. But on the inside, I was willing myself not to be here anymore. In true me style, I turned up to the GP appointment with my makeup perfectly done, wearing a nice outfit, and not a hair out of place, because I couldn't face stepping outside the house without that protection. I was sent away with a prescription for the antidepressants of the moment, told there was a long waiting list for counseling, and was left with the feeling I would just have to continue plodding along. But after a few months, I finally decided to make use of my private health care. So I plucked up the courage to phone up, and was given an appointment 2 days later to go to the Priory to see a psychiatrist. There, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and mixed depression and anxiety, and was initially admitted as a day patient for 2 weeks. I was terrified of having to tell work why I wouldn't be in, because it meant admitting there was something wrong with me, but they were very understanding, and off to the Priory I went. I'll admit, I was naive about it. I thought 2 weeks as a day patient would wave some kind of magic wand, and that I was going to be cured. It didn't work like that, though, and after the initial 2 weeks I was taken in for a month as a residential patient for intensive treatment. It was during this time that I met Mark. At the Priory, you get given a timetable of sessions to go to, not dissimilar to school, and Mark just happened to be in the same group therapy session as me. He was in the Priory as a day patient, recovering from depression, and so he only seemed to pop in and out occasionally. Eventually we became friendly with each other, and then one day I gave him a lift to the station. There was no reason in particular. I'm generally very social anyway, but I certainly hadn't considered fancying him because I was in such a bad place myself. So I wasn't really looking to meet anyone at all, never mind entertaining the thought that anyone would think I was attractive. On the way to the station, we got chatting about the fact that I'd never been to an art gallery, and he suggested we should go to the Tate. So we did, and I assumed it was a friendly day out. We got on really well, though, and ended up going for drinks afterwards. It was that point that it dawned on me. I remember looking into his eyes and feeling like he was the person I could spend the rest of my life with. It sounds cheesy, but it just hit me. As we said goodbye at the station, we kissed. I still smile to myself and look fondly at the spot every time I pass. From that first trip to the Tate, Mark and I escalated into a proper relationship, and now we've been together for nearly 4 years. Currently, we live together in London, but we're about to move out to the suburbs with our 2 cats. It will be a different pace of life, but we're very excited about it, and about our future together. I think the common ground we have in our experiences with mental health has really helped strengthen our relationship. We're able to recognize a dip in the other person, and we both understand that if one of us is having a down day, it's just part of the illness. We've learned how to support the other, while understanding that we can't solve anything for them, because we both know it doesn't work like that. I know if he's feeling unhappy or down, even with all the will in the world, I can't take that away from him, but I can respond in a helpful way, and vice versa. I'd like to think that Mark and I are living proof that a diagnosis of a mental illness doesn't mean you'll never have anything to look forward to again. It doesn't mean you'll never feel happy, or that you'll be unable to find any enjoyment in life. At my lowest, I genuinely thought that I didn't have a place in this world, and while sometimes those thoughts come back, the time between them gets further and further apart. Together, Mark and I are building a life that's worth living for both of us, where we do have ups and we do have downs, but there are way more ups than downs, and I'm truly thankful for it. Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 people every year, yet too often people are afraid to talk about their experiences because they fear it will affect their jobs or relationships. Like, subscribe to the channel. We will have a lot of interesting things